Have you ever asked ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini and gotten back something kind of generic and thought, well, that wasn't very helpful, and then closed the tab and went back to Google? If that's you, I have good news. At first, it's easy to think maybe this AI thing just isn't for me. But what I'm learning is that the answer we get has a lot to do with what we give it to work with. Today, I want to share a simple way to make AI much more useful. Three simple things it needs from you, and two prompts you can try. And as always, this isn't about becoming more technical. It's about learning how to use this tool in a way that supports your life. Welcome back to What I Learned Today, where I dig into health, technology, the environment, and personal growth. I do the research so you don't have to. I'm Vera, a certified transformational life coach. If you missed episode 1, here's a quick recap. We talked about what AI actually is and why it matters, especially for women. And I gave you one homework assignment to try AI. Ask it something and see what happens. If you did that, I'm so happy you gave it a try. Today, I want to take that one step further because once you start using AI, the next question becomes, well, how do I get better answers? Well, here's a mistake I made in the beginning, and I think a lot of people do this. We treat AI like a search engine. We type in a question, expect an answer, and then we're done. But AI works better when we treat it less like a search box and more like a conversation. A search engine looks for information that already exists. AI can help you think through something, organize your thoughts, write a first draft, brainstorm ideas, or look at something from a different angle. But it needs something to work with. Think about it this way. If you walked up to someone and said, write me an email, they wouldn't know what to do with that. They'd need to know who it's going to, what happened, what you want to say, and how you want it to sound. We'd never expect another person to read our minds, but sometimes we expect AI to do exactly that. Here's the thing I kept running into. I'd ask AI something and get back an answer that was okay, but not quite it. And almost every time it came down to the same thing. I wasn't clear enough. Half the time, I didn't even know what I wanted to say until AI gave me something to react to. Maybe you're like me in that way. I don't always know what I want, but I certainly know what I don't want. And sometimes seeing that first answer is exactly what it takes to get clear. So try talking to AI like a smart friend who wants to help, but doesn't know your life yet. The more you tell it, the closer it gets. And when you guide it well, AI doesn't replace you. It makes you more you. Here's something I find reassuring. I've heard the same basic idea described by several different people I follow, just in different words. Sometimes it's 3 questions. Sometimes it's 3 steps. But it always comes down to the same thing. And here's what I love about it. Going through these 3 things doesn't just help AI, it helps you. It's a way of getting clear on what you actually want before you even start. So instead of figuring out by trial and error, you do a little thinking up front, and the whole conversation gets better. So, what does a smart friend actually need in order to help you? 3 simple things: context, task, and result. Context. Tell AI who you are, what you care about, and what situation you're working with. You might include your values, your audience, or whether you want the tone to feel casual, professional, warm, or direct. Task. Tell AI what you want help with, and when you can, give it an example of something you like, or a sample of your own writing, so it starts to get a feel for you. Result. Tell AI what you want the result to look and feel like. And if it's not quite right, give it feedback. You can say, can you make it softer or conversational? Or I want the emphasis to be on this point. That's it, 3 steps, and your results change completely. Think of it like hiring a new assistant on their first day. They don't know you yet. They don't know your taste, your situation, or what success even looks like to you. The more you tell them upfront, the less back and forth you need later. So instead of write me an email, you might say something like, I want to reach out to an old friend I've lost touch with. I'd like to write a short note to reconnect, but I don't want it to sound or feel awkward. I want it to sound natural, like I'm actually talking to her. See the difference? You're not making it complicated. You're just giving AI enough to actually help. I want to make this easy for you. So I put together 2 prompts you can literally pause the video and copy. The first prompt is a simple everyday example. Dinner for the family, a 15-minute time limit, a photo of the fridge and pantry, and something the kids will actually eat. Fill in your details, the number of people in your family, upload photos, give it any dietary restrictions, and if you want more than one recipe. Now, the second one is something almost everyone can use, figuring out what to pack for a trip and asking AI to actually check the weather before it answers. Tell it where you're going, the type of clothes you usually wear, what activities you'll be doing, and that you want to list, and maybe even have it categorize that list. And here's one little tip. When you ask AI for help, don't just tell it what you need. Tell it how you want the answer to come back. Maybe a checklist, a few options, step-by-step directions, or something short and simple. That one detail can make the answer so much more useful. Now, there's another way I like to think about working with AI, especially once you've been using it for a while. It's a lot like parenting. Not because AI is a child, of course, but you don't just give one instruction and expect everything to be perfect from that point on. You guide it. You show it what matters to you. You give it examples. You tell it when something feels right and when it doesn't quite sound like you. And over time, it starts to understand your tone, your taste, and the way you like to say things. That's where the real usefulness comes in. So, if what AI needs from you is how you start the conversation, parenting is a mindset that carries you through it. Patience, consistency, willing to try again when the first answer doesn't quite land. I often tell AI, that's not quite me. I don't say things like that. Or I'll add a sentence to a paragraph, and then I'll have AI reword everything and so that the paragraph flows. The more I use it, the closer it gets to my voice, which saves me time. I want to leave you with a story that reminds us how AI can affect us if we're not careful. There's an entrepreneur who goes by the AI surfer. AI was running a huge part of his business, posting, writing, responding to emails, and helping him grow. He made $1 million doing it. And then he had what he called an existential crisis. Because somewhere in all that automation, he'd lost track of what his purpose was. So he created a rule. 90% AI, 10% human. The 90% is everything you hand off. The repetitive tasks, your to-do list, stuff you don't enjoy, like taxes or accounting or admin. The parts of running a life or business that just have to get done. The 10% is the stuff that only you can do, the things that bring you joy, like your hobbies or being present with the people you love. For me, I use AI to help with things like research, like comparing car insurance quotes, or finding how to grow a particular plant, or writing emails. Those are the things I want help with to save me time. But the 10% is the part I don't want to hand off, like riding the light rail for the first time to Pike Place Market, spending the day with new friends, and being fully present for the experience. AI is not just about productivity and doing things faster. It's about having the time to live a different life. If anything, it gives you more room to live it. Because this was never about getting more done. It's about getting back the time and energy to live a life you actually love. And helping people do that is what I love doing. Here's your assignment this week. Choose one of the prompts from today's episode and try it with whatever tool you're using, whatever AI tool you're using. Fill in your own details. Then, instead of stopping at the first answer, give it one piece of feedback and see what changes. Then come and tell me what happened in the comments. I love to know what you asked and whether the second answer was better than the first. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Next time, we're going to zoom all the way out. What does all of this actually mean for being human? For our relationships, for the things only people can do that no machine ever will. That's episode 3, and I think it might be the one that surprises you the most. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and I'll see you next time.